Welcome to Raising the Bar podcast,
Sponsored by the Ashmore Law Firm.
We're your hosts and siblings,
Gary Ashmore.
and Lori Ashmore Peters.
Subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Welcome to this week's amazing episode of Raising the Bar podcast, sponsored by the Ashmore Law Firm and co-hosted by myself, Gary Ashmore, and my sibling,
Lori Ashmore Peters.
All right.
Brother and sister.
Indeed.
We always have to tell people that because they always think we're husband and wife, and that gets a little disturbing.
Right. Indeed it does.
We have an incredible guest with us this week.
Yep.
I feel very insignificant sitting next to you. Oh my gosh. Alan Mercer.
Oh, thank you.
Before we went on air, he showed us an incredible portfolio of absolutely beautiful pictures.
Oh, that's really nice.
Oh
Thank
my
you so
gosh.
much.
Oh my gosh. So yes, I am going to beg and plead him to please take my pictures and make me look that gorgeous.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
That gorgeous. All right, so Alan, I mean, I don't even know with what I know of your background, with the pictures I just saw. I mean, you're an artist, you're a photographer, you have met, I think, everybody. Hollywood, singers,
yeah.
artists. So how did you get your start?
Well, growing up in Nebraska in the middle of nowhere, believe it or not, and I just had, I just didn't exactly fit in, with that culture, which I think I hear over and over from creative people.
Okay.
You always feel like you don't fit in with your childhood. Because everybody is a lot more the same, it appears that way. And then you're just so different, So that's how I always felt. And I always, I just would, get in my own world and I would draw and draw and draw. That's mostly what I did as a child. Wow. And it was acknowledged. I won ribbons and awards when I was 10 years old and all that kind of stuff in school. So it was my identity before I even understood, what that would be. So there was no other option in many ways for me.
Okay.
I just decided I would devote my life to creativity, to being creative. And I knew it was a different kind of life. I knew it wouldn't be traditional.
Right.
So that's what I did.
So,
hold on.
do you get it from your mom, your dad? I mean,
No,
who in the family is
neither of them.
creative?
No, nobody.
Okay.
Nobody is what you'd say overly creative. My sister and I, we grew up close together and in age, and so I used to photograph her when she was a teenager and all that, and we would think it was for Vogue or something, pretend it was like that. But
Okay, so are you using a Polaroid? I mean, what
Back
are you
in the
using
day.
back in the day? Right. I mean,
I did
I know
use
it's
a
dating us,
Polaroid and
but-
just a regular little point and shoot, whatever.
Okay.
And it used to just be those little tiny negatives.
Right, that you had to send to I think Ecker Drugs or somewhere to get them to send off.
Yeah, all
Ecker's
that stuff.
Wasn't it Eckers at the time? I'm really dating us.
You are. So
know
with
it well.
with the advancement of all of this technology and knowing what it was like years ago, as Gary just dated all of us, do you miss those days of the Polaroid cameras or of the little negatives, or you think now the advancement of technology is phenomenal?
That I like the technology and the advancement. I was for digital. I was one of the first. I got one of the first digital cameras where you had to push down on the button and it would take forever.
Right.
To take the picture.
Yeah.
But the evolution came pretty fast.
Okay.
So, but even in Los Angeles, when I was there, I got there in 2001, and it was because I was hired to photograph Steven Spielberg. So when I got that job, I was like, I just need to live here. You don't fly out from Dallas to Los Angeles, to do that. And then, so I just stayed. And I'd gotten that because the director, James Mall, who had won an Academy Award the year before for the best documentary, The Last Days, about Holocaust survivors, Hungarian Holocaust survivors. And DVDs were brand new, and he needed a photograph to put on the DVD. So he flew into Dallas to have me do that. And that's when he hired me to do Steven with these other all-world directors that flew in for the day. And
So how did you get your start though in photography to even, be in a position to get that call?
okay, I was working at the Dream Cafe in Dallas here. Do you know
Okay,
the
wait.
Dream Cafe?
Yeah, very well.
It was there at the Quadrangle.
Quadrangle,
of
course.
That was in the 90s.
But wait, what brings you to Dallas? You said in Nebraska you were born and raised, right?
I was born and raised in Nebraska, and then I lived in Ohio for a couple years.
Okay.
And then I came here in 1980.
Okay, got it. All right, there we go.
And so, but this was in 1987, I moved then to New York City for a couple years.
Okay.
And I loved it too, I gotta say. But I wasn't developed yet.
Okay.
So, but it was awesome, to be there. So I came back here, and I was doing. People started telling me, because I had a camera. I think my dad got me the camera, and people were just saying, your pictures have a little something more to them. And I knew nothing.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm just like, okay. And then a photographer said to me, you should actually learn the technical aspects, and then you would actually be good.
Oh, wow.
So I did. I learned them, and I just kept shooting. And what we did was at the Dream Cafe, bless their hearts. I'll always be grateful to them for this. They put on an exhibit where I took pictures of all the people who worked there, waiters, waitresses, anybody who was willing to pay for the expenses, pay for the film, pay for the developing, pay for the print. And
Okay.
everything. If you would do that, it was yours.
Okay.
At cost. And so that's what we did. And we filled the restaurant, and I barely worked there any longer. I quit almost immediately after that because I started getting jobs.
Oh my
Wow.
Town.
gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I always knew I was supposed to be in Los Angeles
Okay.
to do that. I knew I had to do that. So that was the goal.
So you get this call to go
Well,
shoot.
I started a website.
Okay.
97, November of 1997. And that was the point of the website, was that somebody in LA would find me and discover me.
And they did.
Okay.
And
Within
they did.
months. Within
Wow.
months, yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's nice.
And so, even just going, through your bio, Andy Warhol, which
I met Andy Warhol, and Andy Warhol really took to me.
Okay.
But he just didn't live much longer.
okay.
Right.
So, out of everyone that you have met in your lifetime, can you say who stands out the most? Is that a fair? I don't even know if that's a fair question with all
So
of.
many in so many
Yes.
different ways.
Yes.
Sometimes just for the rarity of it. Like when I met Rudolf Nureyev. Who's met Rudolf Nureyev?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's just so odd that I liked that. I always have trouble remembering. But, different people for different reasons, I
Okay.
guess. Dolly Parton, I met her way, way, way back.
Right.
In 76.
Okay.
So, she was just on the elevator, and I walked into the elevator, and there she was.
Oh my gosh.
And what I loved about her is she had one of those little notepads that's like 2 by 3 inches and a pen, and she would just write "Love Dolly Parton," and she was just handing them.
That's great.
That is
Just
great.
little nuances.
So I walked out of there with a little piece
Love
of
Dolly
paper.
Parton.
That
Is
great.
fantastic. Okay, so doing your photography and even your art, do you still do a lot of art?
I don't.
don't?
When
Okay.
I would switch to photography, then it made the art unnecessary. It
Okay.
really, and it already was. It just was not pertinent. People don't need it. You know what I mean? And you can get away with it. But photography was a very vital thing at that time. It actually isn't as vital now, but it was then.
Okay.
Because everybody has a cell phone now, and the standards have dropped in everything.
Yeah.
So people are way more used to seeing lesser images,
Quality, right.
lesser quality
Yeah.
food.
Yes.
Right.
All of it.
Everything.
All of it.
Everything.
I heard you guys made your food for the Christmas party, and I go, that's what it's supposed to be.
We do.
Right.
Really?
We were
Hiring a caterer is second.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Second rate.
I
That's right.
kept reminding myself as I was out that entire week helping out that it's a labor of love.
It's a labor of
It
love.
truly is a labor of love.
And that's how I feel about my life in general. So it is a labor, and it wouldn't be for everybody, but for me it is. I mean, I was lucky to know who I am. I guess some people literally don't know who they are.
They don't. They live their entire lives not knowing.
Not knowing, and so
So how long were you in LA?
13 years.
Okay. What made you
I
come
came
back?
back because my dad was coming to the end of his life, and he had Parkinson's
Okay.
and that kind of thing, and my mom was caring for him day and night, and I was like, there's no way I can stay here. And LA, in all honesty, and I don't think it's ever kind of recovered either. Then it was kind of, the productions and all that moved out
Right.
of Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's different.
So it wasn't that happening like it might have been at one point. So I just decided I've got to come back. I've got to be a part of it.
Okay.
And so that lasted about he lasted about 3 more years. And after he passed, my mom, well, she was exhausted and luckily I still have her, but I mean, I'm basically her caregiver now.
Right. Right.
So I'll be here through her,
Okay.
through the end of her. So
Okay. So out of all of the places you've lived, which has been the best?
each in their own way has got their, I don't know, I can't remember Nebraska that much. I mean, it's
cold.
My brother went there recently, and he said it is literally like time stood still.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it's nothing has changed.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah. And I don't know, Texas is an easy place to live, I think. So I like that part. And where California's got all sorts of issues, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
So it's not the most fabulous. I mean, if you lived in Bel Air or something, but even Malibu, look at Malibu now. So
Right.
Yeah, we have a lot of...
it's a mess.
It is.
It
We
is.
have a lot of transplants now that, just a lot of clients, and especially the estate planning clients
Yes.
that are moving from California and coming to live in Texas.
Right. It's a movement in general.
Yeah, it was.
It's well known. So, but I have no plans. Like I say, I'm here, through the rest of my mom's life, but I have no plans after that. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know when it will be,
Right.
So I don't even think about it.
And you're still doing photography.
I do.
Okay.
I do photography as much as I can. And yeah,
So how do we find you? If
my website, alanmercer.com, ALANMERCER.com.
And do you have some of the pictures that you showed
Oh,
us
yeah.
on there?
And they're
Oh my gosh.
categorized
Okay.
and all that, so that people don't have to look at what they don't care about.
Right.
Right.
Okay. I would tell all of our viewers, check it out, because these
Definitely.
pictures are unbelievable.
So do you do social media as well, or
I
you just
do. I mean,
okay.
a little bit. I used to do it more. Since I've been here, I mean, the career hasn't been the hyper focus it was in Los Angeles, where it's every minute of every day, every single
Right.
thing. Now I have a more balanced life.
Okay.
Okay,
You
well, that's
know.
good. Work-life balance.
Work-life balance, and I have a little dog that that absorbs huge amounts of time. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't know that either, but
They
what can you do?
They do. They're little kids always.
Right, and I got him like a month before the COVID shutdown.
Oh,
So
wow.
we
okay.
bonded in that way. So
Real quick.
that's what he thinks life is.
Yeah, that's right. That's
What do
right.
you mean you're leaving? Where are you
Yeah,
going?
right. So
So out of who has been your most difficult? Do you have a most difficult photo shoot?
Photo
that
shoot,
you've had,
right.
or a person that was
I've had
most
a handful
difficult?
of difficult.
I know you
that
probably can't say
probably won't-
names.
Yeah,
Darn it.
I know, right?
Well, you would know some of them, but I won't. But I've shown up when they're drunk.
Okay, I was going to ask
okay.
what makes it so difficult? Is it because they're so demanding? Is it because they're so controlling, or just because they're just
Fear,
out of okay?
controlling can
Okay.
be one of them. They're so afraid. One thing I learned, which I never knew until I was there, was everyone hates getting their picture taken. They hate it.
Oh, really?
They hate it.
Okay.
Oh, I've had actors and actresses saying, it's the last thing I want to do.
Oh my
Really?
goodness.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
That's surprising.
Sorry that I asked.
Right.
Sorry that,
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've had crazy. There's a
Okay.
lot of crazy.
Okay.
So the one that was drunk, how long did
I've
it take
had more
you?
than one. Well, listen to this.
How long did it take you to do that photo shoot?
I've had about 3 that I show up and they're wasted. But, and I did get scared and panicked for a moment. This is what, with those type of people, they give it 15 minutes, they're sober. Because they're sipping. They're like the sipping all day long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And if you stop for 15 minutes, you're sober.
They're back normal.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how they all did.
Okay.
And it was all okay.
What was your longest photo shoot?
Oh, there's 14 and 15 hour photo shoots.
Oh my
That's not
gosh.
normal, but that's when you're doing models and they have to change every
Okay.
look. Not every, I mean, like they have to take out the hair, everything, start over fresh for each.
So you're just
look.
waiting.
And it's just, yeah,
Right.
it's just,
Okay.
yeah, it's just wait.
And your quickest?
Oh, moments, seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, I can tell you that one time I got a call from TV Guide, which
Okay.
does TV Guide exist?
I don't know.
I don't even know. Maybe digitally.
But back in the day, yeah, no,
Yeah.
originally,
Okay. So
you couldn't wait for TV Guide to come out.
They needed a picture of Mac Davis, who is the singer, songwriter, actor, who's passed since then. But and they said, "Can you get to his house in Beverly Hills?" He lived right next to Elizabeth Taylor too, and just get in there, get a picture, get out. He hates pictures, and he's waiting to go play golf, so he's not in a good mood because he just wants to play golf. So I jumped in the car, sped over there, took the pictures in moments for him. He was really nice. Too. Moments. And then he was free to go do his thing. And it was digital by then. And
right.
so then minutes later, TV Guide had the picture.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's so amazing.
So back in the day when y'all were using actual film, were you doing the developing or someone else always did the developing?
I did do developing way back, but I discovered it wasn't my thing.
Right,
I was
okay.
never a darkroom person.
Right. Dark
And that's
room,
what people
chemicals.
love. Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, always, I'm putting up with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm coping
Right.
with it. But no, I was happy. I thought, wow, not having to do darkroom. You have so much more control digitally.
Yeah,
over
of course.
what your images. And, it's every little tiny nuance. And that's what makes the pictures that you looked at stand out, because every pixel has been hand done. Every single, and it's things that the naked eye may not really notice, but it's hitting your mind that it's, that it's different, that it's something's different, even if you don't know what it is, that's better,
Yeah.
that you like. So
That's amazing. All right. So living through everything you have lived through, all of the advancements, everything you've done, what advice would you give your younger self? Knowing
to
what
be
you
a
know now?
lot more outgoing. I mean, I was
Really?
desperately shy and desperately quiet and just, that was my nature. Was very, and I'm still not a person who really goes out and, I'm not outgoing.
Okay.
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 Yeah, I'm an introvert.
Okay.
So that part, is, I would say, I mean, I'm sure I've lost opportunities because of, I think people that are too, quiet and too closed up, they miss life.
Right.
So I would say open up and just be more confident.
Okay.
Isn't that a lot of times what most
is.
everybody, it's like
right.
a little more confident. And
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, so that's basically it.
Okay.
I like that.
So, so we're Raising the Bar podcast. So
Yes.
how do you feel you've raised the bar either professionally or personally? Or how do you raise the bar professionally or personally?
Well, I think always stretching, going past what you're comfortable with, which in that regard, for me, I raised the bar by going to LA and dealing with world level people, and people that sought after that most people can't get an audience with, much less get a job with.
Right.
So, I was very, very, that made me, it took care of all my neediness.
Okay.
You're young and you're a little more needy, and when you're creative and you want to it's always about, oh, notice it. Look at, I mean,
Right.
the first thing I do is show you, you can't escape it. So all of that got fulfilled in me. So that part of me is no longer like active. I don't
Right,
need
okay.
anything anymore.
Okay.
So that I feel is raising the bar on a personal level too, because I don't have the anxieties, I don't have the tension.
Right.
I have nothing to prove anymore ever. Mm-hmm. And I think since I am in my 60s, if I wasn't here, I would say I'd have a problem.
Right. Okay.
Because if you don't know these things in your 60s, when are you ever going to know
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's right.
So I do have a question. When you get that call, when you're here and you get the call of, hey, you need to fly in to take a picture of Steven Spielberg, what went through your mind?
Just pure excitement.
I mean, were you shaking as you were taking the picture?
No,
the camera
but I'm
would have
glad
been-
you said that. I took care of that too, because I was still pretty inexperienced at that.
Okay.
Because
Right.
my experience came from being in Los Angeles more than here.
Okay.
So, no, I hired an assistant who was very experienced, who had a Hasselblad camera. Do you know Hasselblad?
no.
You don't-
Hasselblad is
Okay.
the big, expensive, like the $10,000, $20,000 camera.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's used for
That's what they took to the moon.
right. It's
Oh,
used.
wow, what they took
Holy
to the
moly.
moon. Oh,
It's
my
what
goodness.
it's for. At least in the past, it's always the most prestigious and most important camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I let him take care of all the technical parts.
Right.
And I just what do they say? What is that when you dole out responsibilities?
You delegate. You
Delegate.
delegate
That's the
all
word I
that
was
to
looking for.
Okay.
him.
I
Okay.
delegated that one.
So you kind of were the director.
I was the director,
And let them-
I would stand up on the thing and I'd look through the camera and I go, yeah, that looks good. And I probably took a couple, but I just let him do
Let
it.
him do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, and I learned kind of that from Warhol. You don't have to do everything.
Right. Okay, so you probably had a hand in teaching Steven Spielberg something. This is how you direct. Here's what you need to do. Look up at the camera and tell him where to go stand. Let
And
them
Steve-
do it.
He came behind the camera too. He
There
came
we
behind
go.
it and took a couple shots.
Let me look.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
That is too funny.
Okay, so Luke, don't get any ideas about asking for that
I know.
camera.
I was going to say
What's
that's
it
going to be
called?
on Luke's.
Hasselblad.
Ha-
Hasselblad.
Hasselblad?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to be on Luke's wish
Interesting.
list.
I know for Christmas.
2025 for Christmas this year.
Let's do next
I
Christmas.
wonder what they are now. I mean, they've always been buy a house or a camera.
Right.
Actually, like $20,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is crazy.
So does that matter? Does the type of camera? I mean, is it
Less
truly?
so now.
Less so
Okay.
now. Right.
Okay.
Because ever since digital took over everything, you don't need all that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Really. You
Okay.
just so I'm sure maybe they aren't as expensive, but I bet they are. They'll never go down.
Right.
Okay.
But and now they just put the digital back on it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So
But back in the day, like the more expensive camera, the better shot that you would
oh,
get.
because your negatives are this big.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's true.
So
right.
then you know, but now with AI even, now I can take a picture that I couldn't have taken before, like in a dark room, like and just move the ISO, which is like the ASA, you know, the film speed.
Right.
Okay. So you can move it up to like 1600 on digital and take the picture, and it's going to be grainy looking. Do you know what?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But now with AI, you put it in there, it takes away that.
Yeah. Wow.
And it
That's
sharpens
amazing.
anything that needs sharpening and all that. So again, you can just be less and less together and still come up with something that really is strong,
Right.
striking.
Right.
So
That's cool.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
The newest Hasselblad is 32,995, and that's not including a lens, it's just the body.
right, the
Oh,
lens
my
is going to be
goodness.
another that much.
$33,000.
Another that much. Right.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
You're right. Do you want a house or do you
Does
want
it take
a
the
camera?
picture for you?
or yeah, or at least a trailer.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. That's
Oh
great.
my goodness. That's amazing.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, but now I don't. None of my work is that specific like that. All I do is more basic, really. Now.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't require That's if you're going like to the moon or to Antarctica. The camera's got to be able to handle the cold,
Yeah.
and
Right.
the heat, and all that. So, but everything I do is real basic and fun.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so so we've talked about all this photography and all these photos that you've taken. What are you planning on doing with all of that?
I'm getting it organized.
Okay.
And I will be, with the help of other people, putting it together and, forming some type of a book. And I don't want it to just be pictures because, I want to be able to let people know that there is a struggle element involved. You have to really be confident in yourself, and you have to not take things personal. And see, that's a lot of it. We always see the glory, the good, the glamour, all that stuff. But the other side that it takes to get there is the hard work.
Right.
The mental, ness of it, the coping with the negative, all the no people. Because the world is a lot more no than yes.
Right, that's true.
Because
that's
no
right.
is safe.
Yep.
Yes is dangerous.
Yep.
So that's what I want to kind of get in there and let people know that, because a lot of times, and people, they say this to me, we just assume everything's just smooth sailing for you the entire time because you just appear that way and it seems like you've always known. And that's not realistic for anyone's life.
Right.
No one. I mean, it still is an uphill climb. So I do want to add that element with the pretty pictures.
Okay, so the vision is some type of photo book that
Yes.
has those additional touches to
Yes.
it, and a coffee table kind of version.
Yes.
Okay,
But
got
a
it.
bit of
All
a
right.
story.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so-
Okay.
Because people
All right.
don't see the struggles.
They don't.
They really
And
don't.
every last human being has them. So it's silly to act like we don't.
Right.
And that's where, I also believe you've got to be of benefit to others. You can't, it's not just about taking a pretty picture. It really is about working with people's self-esteem, things like that. And I mean, many people have told me how much better they felt about themselves after the photos.
Right. Okay.
So, that's good.
All right. So be on the lookout for that project.
Yes,
Hopefully in the
yes.
next coming years. We'll
Yes,
just leave it
within
open.
a couple years.
Okay. All right. So I also understand you work with your sister. Obviously, Lori and I are brother sister. We said that at the beginning of the show.
So how many arguments do y'all have?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
I know
right.
we have a lot.
Well, it all just depends. Normally, it's I don't get that involved with all the other things with her life. So
Right.
Otherwise, there probably would be.
Probably a good
Lots
thing,
and
right?
lots
Of
of
course. Of
arguments.
course.
But since I mostly just stay in my place, and
Right.
we together we do the images. We
Okay.
and we shoot extra fast. We sometimes only shoot 10 frames because we look and we go, oh, we got it.
We got
Okay.
it.
Because
Yeah.
nobody's into it. Like I said, she's not into it. Like, I don't want to stand here and it's work.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know how, but I would say that on some level, we'll probably work together, forever.
Right. Okay. No, that's great. Yeah. Well, it looks like that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're
right?
stuck with each other.
Okay. We look at each other and say, when are
You
we
can choose your
retiring?
friends, you can't
I
choose
don't
your
know.
family.
That's right. It's fun.
Thanks to our sponsor, the Ashmore Law Firm.
We specialize in probate, estate planning, family law, guardianship, personal injury, and civil litigation.
You can find us at ashmorelaw.com.
Or by calling us at 214-559-7202.
Again, that's ashmorelaw.com.
Or calling 214-559-7202.